Oh yeah, so coming up next, we're gonna talk about the NBA Finals. Tom, have you been watching?
I saw bits and pieces of air conditioning gate, or AC gate as it's been called.
Oh, that was so much fun. And I feel bad for LeBron James because people love to hate him. I love to hate him. My family's from Cleveland, so obviously they're not too happy with him taking off. But
It's blood.
I mean, I'm glad he didn't get hurt. I'm glad he's not like seriously hurt. But here's the thing: is you can make a big deal out of that AC breaking. You can make as big a deal out of that as you want. But the truth is that it affected both teams the same. It's not like the Spurs play any better in the Heat than the Heat, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
You think the Heat
it's
would
not
play
like
well in the Heat,
they
but
really accused the Spurs of trying to kill the AC.
exactly, they were hurting their team just as much as they were hurting the other team. And if the AC breaking was really that big of a deal, then more people should have been getting cramps than just LeBron James. That's all I'm saying. Granted, I still think
It's
he's one of the
one thing.
greatest players, but yeah, it is kind of fun to see him fail because of the decision. I think that's when it really all started. The way that he went about leaving Cleveland, I think, just made him a villain, and
Oh,
people want to see him fail.
either retire as a hero or play long enough to see yourself a villain. To quote the Batman movie.
All right, so who do you think wins and in how many games?
Oh, it's got to go the distance just because I think both teams are pretty freaking good as it is. I mean, I'm not an expert at basketball. I don't watch enough games to qualify myself as that, but from what I've seen in the playoffs and whatnot, the two teams are too good to not go to 7 games. I would say the winner's got to be the Spurs.
I'm going Spurs in 6.
Spurs in 6. No Ray Allen jumper to save the Heat this year.
I don't think so. No, the Spurs should have won it in 6 last year. They blew it in the last minute. It went back to Miami, and the Heat won.
That is true.
Barely.
That's the other thing. It's going to be Game 7's at San Antonio this year. So
That's right. And I think that, they've got the home court advantage. And I just think the Spurs are a better team this year. I thought they were a better team last year, and they blew it. They beat themselves, not the other way around. The Heat are a good team, don't get me wrong, but I think the Spurs are better. And I think the Spurs are going to pull it out this year. Tim Duncan's going to get number 5.
I'd like to see Duncan get number 5. I like how the Spurs, everybody says, oh, they're too old, but then they're old.
Okay, what is more impressive to you? Tim Duncan winning championship number 5 or LeBron James winning his 3rd in a row?
I'd say Duncan championship number 5.
Okay, and again, this is another argument that can go either way. I think that Duncan getting number 5 is more impressive because he's been consistent throughout his entire career. He hasn't always had Parker and Ginobili, even though I think he's had him for 3 out of 4 of them. But still, he's had to put some of the load on himself. He's had to use his team, but they've been able to win all throughout his career. It's not just this 2-phase streak when he's got all-stars like Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh on his team.
To be fair, to Dwayne's credit, he did win a championship with Shaq before LeBron.
That's true. I think you can almost make an argument that Wade is more of a championship player than LeBron. LeBron wasn't able to carry his team to the championship like Dwayne Wade was able to do.
No, here's the thing that people get wrong about basketball when they talk about people and their legacies is, yeah, a good player should get his team to the playoffs every year, but once you get to that level, you're playing 8 other teams, well, I guess 16 since there's 2 conferences. There's 16 other teams that have at least one good player.
Exactly.
So then it becomes more of a team game at that point.
And that's why I feel bad for Kevin Durant. I think he just came into the NBA at a really bad time. There's all these superstars in control of their teams, and now he's got to try and take his all the way. And I think Westbrook and him go along together really well, but I just, the Thunder are a great team. That Steven Adams, I think, is going to be a great player. They're 7-foot center they drafted this past year that came in big for him in the playoffs, but I just think that he came in at a bad time, and he might not be remembered as such a great player because I don't think Kevin Durant's going to be able to win as many championships as a lot of these other guys, even though, I mean, he was the MVP, rightfully so, and probably the best player throughout this year. So,
to his credit, they have had to face the Spurs every year in the playoffs in some form or
but the Spurs are a better team. That's just the long and the short of it.
Yeah, no. I think Harden leaving for Houston also hurt.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anytime you lose a guy like that, but I mean, man, it's just got to be tough playing in a small town market like that,
No,
and just trying to make it happen against a powerhouse like the Spurs every single year. It's a daunting task,
I got you.
and it
The
sucks
one
for
thing,
him because he won't be remembered as great of an athlete.
yeah, the one thing though, going back to what I think about the series and how it's going to play out, people don't talk about it that much because of there's LeBron and his cramping, and then AC Gate. The Heat blew a fourth quarter lead, so they could have won that game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that's honestly just as big an issue for me as it is for or as it is for anything else. It doesn't make sense. It's just as big an issue for me as anything else that I saw in that first game.
All right, well, we'll find out tonight here in a few hours exactly how that happens and how that goes down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it.